Now this year is going to be great for RTS fans out there. I've already discussed Broken Arrow, for example, Homeworld 3 is coming out, Sins 2 and many more. Now Falling Frontier is yet another upcoming RTS that might be of interest to you guys. It's going to be a large scale 4x RTS set in a procedurally generated space in which you can play as one of the 9 factions shown here, with each having their kind of unique roster of units and abilities. Now as one of these 9 factions, you basically compete for the resources in the star system, so you recon the situation, build up your military, and fight the opponents in a grand scale engagement. So as one of these 9 factions, you're basically competing for the resources in that system. So you do some recon, you build up your military, and you engage these guys. Obviously you can also play docile and mind your own business. The ships you use in these engagements are fully customizable, which I find really interesting. Not only in terms of weaponry, but also in terms of the crew, down to the individual crew members. I personally don't know of many RTS games that go down to this level of customization, since I have really not played these kind of games before, so it's really refreshing for me to say the least. Now the star system you start in will be filled with planets, moons, asteroids, nebulae, etc. You go in, you build your military and civilian industries, you discover new areas or anomalies, and you unlock research advantages. Now all of these will serve only one purpose, which is for you to get out there and claim what you want, such as resources or just more terrain. Now in the storyline campaign, you start off in our own solar system, while the later chapters in the initial campaign take you into new ones, which are all procedurally generated. And this way they hope to make each playthrough a unique one. Now one thing that I already like is the UI in the game. It's very nicely integrated with the gameplay, meaning it doesn't take up unnecessary screen space like most other games. Instead, it is shown exactly where it needs to be shown, and only when you request that information, such as in the case of this missile destroyer shown here. We can tell its munitions, how many crew members are in there, and the general status of the ship, in a way that the information is part of the scenery, so you never really take your eye off the game itself. Something I was very happy to read about is that the game will have a really good modding tool that will be available at launch. People can then create and share own scenarios, entire star systems, missions, and campaigns. So what you could do, for example, is create a system that resembles the Klingon homeworld. Wouldn't that be cool? Now the base game will release with a storyline campaign, which I really enjoy, since a large portion of the RTS community simply doesn't want to play multiplayer matches. They're just too stressful, there's too much meta stuff going on, and they just want to enjoy a more casual single-player aspect of games. And I do agree with a lot of these RTS fans. Now let's dive into some actual gameplay footage. Here we have a procedurally generated star system going into orbit on this planet and set up a system so that we can colonize it. And that is, yes, one of the things that you can do in this game. You can colonize planets that are habitable, which is just a wonderful addition. Supply depots can be fully managed. You can adjust the refill thresholds and all that so that you don't oversupply one area and basically don't have any fuel for units on the field. Building a military outpost like that to create ships. You can build a class missile missile destroyers, you can build frigates, and more ships will be added later. Now speaking of ships, fully customizable as I've said. So you can make this a missile ship, you can make it a pulse cannon ship, a railgun ship, or mix and match whatever you want to have like a multi-purpose small ship. Now speaking of multi-purpose, you can also fully customize, that was actually not a good link, you can fully customize the crew members, which is a cute little detail. I wonder if these crew members, if they gain experience, gain certain perks, so that if you transfer them to a different ship, that different ship has now the perks of that individual in it. Now one of the major things in this game will be reconnaissance, because space is vast. You can't just have a line of sight on something from a couple million kilometers away and just expect to see that target, as clear as day on your HUD or whatever. So you need to send probes. There you go, finding a new colonizable world. So you go ahead and build an outpost there. But you also spot enemies in that area. So you want to fight for that colonizable planet. So here's a ship that is going into warp speed, which looks absolutely stunning. Here, look at it. There you go. Doesn't that look amazing? And then when it exits warp, man. I mean, we perceive things by seeing and hearing them. So a game that is both an eye candy and an ear candy, I don't know if that's even a word, is half the work. Then you just need to have a sufficiently good enough gameplay, and you got a work of art. Like, that is how easy it actually is. Really good physics there, so one of our ships bumped into kind of a big old rock, big old space rock, and it kind of shattered into a million pieces. Ships being destroyed kind of do just float away and then explode later. One thing I'm wondering is if there's going to be verticality in this, because in Homeworld 3 they're really emphasizing big time on the fact that you can move up and down with your ships in, you know, an XYZ dimension and not only be stuck to a 2D plane. But it seems like in this game it's kind of like Battlefleet Gothic Armada. You're basically just stuck to 2 dimensions. But who knows? They might it might be limited by the engine, but in all honesty, I don't really mind it too much. That looks good enough as it is. Now, as I was typing this, new information released on Falling Frontier. Initially, the game was being developed by one person and was scheduled to release Q4 2022. Then it got pushed down to 2023, sometime in 2023. We don't exactly know which part of it, which quarter of it, but the good news is that there is now a second developer on the team who's going to be a full-time artist, and the main job of this person right now is to design all the different types of ships. So a mining barge is now already being produced and is going to be used for mining resources in the game, and there's going to be another variant that will serve as a separate logistical function. So there's going to be a huge emphasis on the logistical system as well. The cool thing is that there will be more information in the coming months, and this is something that the developer himself said. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now, if you want to stay up to date, please do let me know. And also subscribe to the channel. That is the main way to not miss any videos. And I'm definitely looking forward to this. And whatever news is posted in the future, I will be posting about it. I might do some deeper dives into the improvement of the UI, tactical waypoint system, obstacle avoidance, collision mechanics, all that kind of stuff. I really want to dive deep into this game because it is looking absolutely stunning. With that said, I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.